Manager, CEO in Delta South. Mr. President, I also rise to support this bill. And in supporting this bill, Mr. President and respected colleagues, I'm very conscious of so many things. The Southwest region, of which my state used to be part of the Southwestern region. And therefore, we have so many things in common there. And this bill, I'm sure, will have a relationship with Amotekun. It is very clear because there are certain things that are peculiar to the Southwest, for which this commission, when set up, will take control. Mr. President, the lead debate is very apt, and I cannot go against an important bill like this. But just for our purpose, and for the purpose of history, Mr. President, this country in 1957, there was Willings Commission that was set up. The commission turned in the report in 1958. And in that report, there was a proposal for a Niger Delta Development Authority to be set up and to address the peculiar needs of the Niger Delta people. That was 1958, before oil was discovered in commercial quantities. Today, by the grace of God, we have not less than 10 basin development authorities in the country. Everything that is for development is important because we are far, far behind the rest of the world. And therefore, for us to fast-track development, it is important for us to have commissions like this. And I do know that there was this Southeast Development Commission bill, which was passed by the Senate and was passed by the House of Reps. But I'm told that that bill is here to be assented to. If it is here to be assented to, those from the Southeast can ignite it, and we can also discuss it. The one from Northeast, for certain reasons, the Northeast Development Bill was also brought here. And by the grace of God, we passed it. And that one has been assented to. For obvious reasons, the Northeast, Northeast, I understand, Northwest is also coming. And the North Central people are also getting ready. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, if all the regions, if all the zones are getting their own commissions, then Southwest must also get their own. Mr. President,
Chief Whip, you have to keep to the time. Otherwise, most of our colleagues here will not speak. Because I have a list of about 17 people, and we have just 20 minutes.
I'm rounding up, Mr. President. In rounding up, Mr. President, the South-South Development Commission bill is also on its way. Agreed that we have Niger Delta, but there is a state from the Southwest, which is a part of the Niger Delta Commission. And Lagos is also getting ready to join us. And of course, there are two states from the Southeast that are also part of the Niger Delta. Mr. President, there are certain things in the South-South that are very peculiar to the South-South people. Very, very peculiar. And therefore, the South-South Development Bill is also on its way. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity.
Should not be the chamber where basis for disintegrating Nigeria should be discussed. Mr. President, there was first Amotekun. Now there is Southwest Development Commission. Now all the other commissions that were approved by this Senate, NDDC, Northeast, were actually children of circumstances. Northeast was devastated by Boko Haram and all the wars, and they need rehabilitation. The same thing with Niger Delta. because of the oil exploration activities, the livelihood of the people there was almost rendered useless, and they could not farm, they could not fish, but they need all these activities. So the Niger Delta Commission was created. I cannot see a reason why Southwest Commission should be Development Commission should be created, because Southwest is the most developed sub-region of this country. I remember before the Civil War, Mr. President, before the Civil War, all shipping activities were either in Port Harcourt or in Calabar. But due to Civil War, all shipping activities were diverted to Lagos. Then there was only Apapa Port. And then that time, and Tinkan Island was built, Apapa Port was built, and up to this moment, shipping has not reverted to Port Harcourt. Shipping has not reverted to Calabar. Shipping has not reverted to Oni. So I think this bill is a very dangerous bill, Mr. President. Very dangerous. It means every sub-region of Nigeria, every sub.
You have to round up now.
Going back, because Midwest was created, because the same reason why states were created, to make Nigeria.
You have 30 seconds to round up.
The basis for disintegrating Nigeria, each one, I know all these sub-regions are now heading for self-government, or they are creating true federalism. I don't think this is true federalism. I don't support this, and I urge my senators to please not support it. Thank you.
The Senate.
If we look at China today, China has become either the second or the largest economy in the world. Because the second largest economy in the world, because of the competition among the various provinces. So the creation of development commissions in the zones will only generate competition that will propel progress and growth. In fact, the creation of this Southwest Development Commission will unlock the creation of this commission will unlock the resources and the potentials of the Southwest. The Southwest has been a front runner in terms of development in the past. The first industrial estates in Ikeja and in Lupeju, the first television in Africa, the first Liberty Stadium in Africa, the rubber plantation, all these were in the Southwest. But as the sponsor of this bill said, there has been a sort of deterioration. And I think this commission will revitalize and re-engineer the energy of the region. More so that we have this development agenda for Western Nigeria. They will work together in collaboration to ensure that we return to the past glory. It's going to be in the interest of the nation. The commission is not for Lagosians or for the Ekiti people. It's for the entire Nigerians. It's only less than 60% of people in Lagos and the Southwest are actually indigenous of the Southwest. It's a cosmopolitan area bringing people from different parts of the country. So it should not be seen as something meant for either the Lagosians or people from Ekiti Ondo. With this, and with the time that is not in my favor, I think I'm supporting solidly this commission, and this should be passed for second reading.
And very distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, this bill is not a controversial bill. This bill is straightforward. This bill is advocating for development. Nobody will move against a developmental legislation. When you oppose this bill, it's simply moving against the tide.
We are here to ensure that we carry development to all parts of Nigeria. Mr. President, I was here when my respected elder statesman informed me that their own too from North Central is coming. Yes. North Central. Elder statesman, I'm talking of Abdullah Adamu, Senator Adamu. And Jibril Bara is also bringing his son from Northwest. So why are we getting agitated for no? In fact, refusal to pass this bill would rather divide us the more. Let us apply wisdom. Let us apply our heart unto wisdom. Otherwise, as parliamentarians, we should be seen to be agents of unity. If every zone has its own development plan or agency or authority, they will have a greater development plan in the future, just as my friend from Taraba would advise. So I think it's the best thing to do if we will pass this bill. Mr. President, I lend my support, and I want to congratulate my Egbon for this wonderful idea. I trust my colleagues will key into this vision.
Senator Obi Nogba.
Obi Nogba, Ibon Central. Mr. President, I rise to not just to support this bill, but to congratulate the mover of this bill. Mr. President, if you look at this bill, the title, it said Southwest Development Commission. The whole thing about the bill is all about development. And I don't think there's anybody in this chamber who can stand up to say that development is not good in any part of this country. Yes, Lagos State is developed, but it's not. There are some areas in Lagos State that is yet to develop. And if you go to other parts of the Southwest, they seriously need development. And I feel that this bill, if passed, will go a long way in solving that problem. Mr. President, as the last speaker just said, this is a very straightforward bill that doesn't even need debate. So I want to call on Mr. President and my colleagues that there's no point wasting time in debating this bill. I so support that this bill should be read the second time. I so support, Mr. President.
I represent Osun Central. First and foremost, I think this is a very sensitive bill, and I think it will be preposterous if we look at it from an ethnic and defensive perspective, and that's why
distinguished, but
zone has certain peculiarities. The Southwest, as stated in the lead debate by Senator Amuso, has peculiar developmental problems. The Northwest has its own peculiar development problems. And equally, the Northeast, which has been devastated by Boko Haram, that necessitated the passage of Northeast Development Commission, has its own peculiar development problems. And equally, the North Central. So what I would suggest, Mr. President, in order not to divide this chamber, is for every geopolitical zone to come up with their own development agenda. If this is done, it will satisfy virtually everybody, and it will be seen that we are representing our people very well. I could remember that it happened in the 8th Senate. The Southeast brought its own development commission, and we supported it. It got overwhelming support by virtually everybody in this chamber. So it is for this reason that I'm supporting the passage of this bill into law, and subsequently all other geopolitical zones should also come with their own bill. And I hope I'm speaking the mind of everybody. You have 5 minutes more. Yes. So, so, Mr. President, there is no need to continue with this debate. Let me learn. Mr. President, because of justice and equity, every geopolitical zone should bring its own bill for the development of their own zone, so that the Senate will pass it into law.
and let Mr. President assent to the bills at the same time. But suffice to say, Mr. President, that the Southwest presently is the most developed zone in the country. Remember, it was the seat of federal capital before movement of federal capital to Abuja. And it has two main seaports. It has an international airport. It has the biggest refinery, which is currently being built by a private sector. Alhaji Dangote is building 850,000 barrels capacity,
Chief Whip.
Export Processing Zone Authority, which is now in Lagos. So, distinguished colleagues, allow this bill to pass so that you can bring your own. Thank you very much.
Man. And I believe that everybody, once you're elected as a senator, you should speak as a statesman. Mr. President, if we balkanize Nigeria with what we are doing, we will be held responsible. What we are doing today, Mr. President, in the Senate, we passed two bills: the Northeast Development Bill and the Southeast Development Bill. The President, in his wisdom, because he loved the unity of this country, did not sign one because he does not want balkanization. What we are doing today, indirectly, is if you decide, like my distinguished Senator Lero has said, I agree with him. If you say we will pass this, then every zone will have its own commission, including Midwest. We will bring the Midwest Development Commission for the people, for Edo and Delta. That's a commission of its own.
There is no Midwest.
There's Midwest. No. Your Excellency, Mr. President, I'm a student of history. Southwest, the 6 geopolitical zones came out of what Alex Ekweme brought out. But there are zones in this country. And we have a region, which is Midwest region. I am saying, Mr. President, that we should not sit here and divide this country. I am appealing to our distinguished senators that what we are about to do and the foundation we are laying now is a foundation to balkanize this country. I so move.
Every zone that wants to bring forward a bill to create a commission such as one proposed in this bill should be supported. We all agreed. We agreed. So, the Southeast brought their own, we supported. The Northwest, sponsored by me, I was the one who sponsored it. No single dissent. Everybody, those from the Southeast, those of us from Southwest, from North, everybody supported. In the Senate. And the North Central also brought his own. We all supported. North Central was about to bring its own, but it did not bring its own. But it did not bring its own. But as we speak, I also sponsor that of Northwest. It should have appeared on the other paper today, but I was told that it's coming up next week. So, based on this understanding,
Distinguished, you are the last to speak, and you have only 20 seconds.
Mr. President, based on this understanding, I think we should support this bill. That of Northwest is coming next week, and I'm sure it's going to be supported by all us.
Thank you very much.